Hey guys, this is Miss Briscoe here with today's math lesson. So our learning goal for today is I can use compatible numbers to estimate quotients. So we're going to be estimating quotients using compatible numbers. Now when we do this, it's nice to use, you're finding two estimates using compatible numbers. That way you can make sure that you're going to get some reasonable estimates for your division. So the first step that you want to do is you want to find two sets of compatible numbers to find two different estimates. Now this is going to help you come up with an estimate that's going to be pretty close. Compatible numbers are numbers that go together, either when you're adding, dividing. So if I'm dividing, I know that, let's say, 6 and 12 are compatible numbers because 6 goes into 12 evenly. And I know that, let's say, for example, 5 and 10 are compatible numbers because 10 can be divided by 5 evenly. So when you're dividing, you want to find compatible numbers to help you through this. So I'm going to show you with 3 different problems, and this is what you're going to be practicing today. So for our first one is I have 1,353 divided by 60. The first step that you want to do is you want to take your divisor and you want to round it to the nearest 10. Well, as you can see, 60 has already been rounded to the nearest 10. So you're going to write that out twice, okay? So that step's already been done for us. This is a problem where it's already been done. So 60. So what I need to do is I need to round 1,353. I need to round that to a compatible number that I know 60 can go into. And the way that you can do that is really pretend like the 0 is not there. Okay, so let's go ahead and pretend that our 0 is not there. Well, I need to think of a number that 6 can go into that's close to, let's say, 13, because if you cover up the last 2 digits of that thousands, you'll see it just is a 1 and a 3. So if I were to round something close to 6. Well, I know that 6 can go into 12, and 12 is pretty close to 13. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to round my dividend to 1200. Do you see how that's a compatible number? So now if I were to take 60 and divide it into 1200, I could use mental math. I could cover up my zeros, and I could see that 6 can go into 12 how many times? Well, 6 goes into 12 2 times. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add a 0 at the end. I'm using mental math to help me do this. Because if I were to cover up the 0 and 60 and 1 0 here, that means there's an extra 0. So I'm adding that in and using mental math that 1200 divided by 60 equals 20. So that's my rounding below what my dividend is. Well, let's see if there's a number that's higher than my dividend that I could round it to. Well, I know that 12, the next multiple for 60 would be 18. So I'm going to go ahead and round my dividend up to 1,800 because 6 and 18 are compatible numbers. So I'm going to do mental math again, and I'm going to say, okay, 6 can go into 18 3 times. So that means 1,800 divided by 60 is 30. So when I'm looking for my answer to this division problem, my answer is going to be somewhere in between 20 and 30. That's going to be my estimates. My answer for this division problem, if I were to actually divide it out, is going to be between 20 and 30. Now, it's very simple. You could easily divide that. And so we're going to divide it just so I can show you what it would look like. So if I'm actually going to divide this number, so I know that 60 is pretty close to 50. And if I'm looking at 135, I know that 50 plus 50 equals 100, but it wouldn't go into 35. So I'm going to say it's about 2. So if I did 2 times 60, that's going to give me 120. And I'm just using mental math. 6 times 2 is 12, and add my 0. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract that. Oops, I shouldn't have written that. 5 minus 0 is 5. 3 minus 2 is 1, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So I have 15 left. Well, so I need to drop down my 3. So now I need to think, okay, so if I were to take 60 and put it into 153, well, 60 is close to 50. 50 would go into this 3 times and have 3 left over, but there's no way 60 would go into this 3 times because 60 times 3 would be 180. So I'm going to put 2 again. So 2 times 60 is 120. I'm going to go ahead and subtract. 3 minus 0 is 3, 5 minus 2 is 3, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So I have 22 remainder 30. And as you can see, 22 is in between 20 and 30. So my estimates were correct. My answer fell in between 20 and 30. So that's how finding two different estimates can really help you. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to do another problem. I have 68 or 503 divided by 68. And it's easier if you write it out like this because this is how you're ultimately going to set up your two different answers. Okay, so I'm going to round 60 to the nearest 10. Well, 60 is closer to 70 than it is 60. So I'm rounding my divisor up to 70. So I need to think, okay, what's a number that 7 can go into that's close to 50? Because I'm just going to cover up that last one's digit, and I'm just going to look at the 50. What is a number that 7 can go into evenly that's close to 50? Well, I know that 7 times 7 equals 49. So I'm going to round 503 to 490. So that was me rounding down, okay? So now I'm going to round up to the next multiple of 7, which would be 7 times 8. Well, 7 times 8 is 56. So what I have done is I have rounded, I've made compatible numbers. I've rounded my hundreds place down to a number that 7 is compatible with and up to the next number that 7 is compatible with. So as we said, 7 went into 49 7 times. So 70 will go into 490 7 times. And 7 went into 56 8 times. So 70 will go into 560 8 times. So if I were to divide this out, my number would be, my answer, my quotient would be in between 7 and 8. So let's go ahead and give that a try. If I'm dividing, so 68 cannot go into 50 because it's larger. So I need to figure out, okay, it's going into 503. Well, I know that my number is going to be between 7 and 8. Well, I'm going to go ahead and try 7 because I know I don't want it to be over 8. So let's try 7. So if I were to multiply 68 times 7, I need to go ahead and do 8 times 7, which is 56. And then I need to do 6 times 7 is 42 plus 5 is going to give us 47. So if I were to subtract 476, I have 13 minus 6, which is 7, 9 minus 7, which is 2, and 4 minus 4, which is 0. So my answer is 7 remainder 27. So as you can see, it's in between my estimates, and my estimates actually helped me to come up with my 7. They helped me to figure out what I needed to multiply 68 by in order to get closest to 593. So there's two ways that doing these estimates can help you. First, they can tell you if your answer is close to what it should be, and second, they can help you figure out how to place your first number when you're dealing with a double-digit divisor that's a pretty large number. You wouldn't really know the multiples of 68. So let's try one more. We have 19 and 5,312. So I'm taking 5,312 and I'm dividing it by 19. So our first step is we need to take our divisor and we need to round it to the nearest 10. Well, 19 is closer to 20 than it is to 10. So we're going to round it up to 20. So now what I need to do is I need to cover up my numbers and I need to write 53. What multiple would 53 be closest to for 20? Well, I know 20 times 2 is 40, and that's pretty close to 53, so that would be me rounding down. So I'm going to round 5,312 to 40. So 20 and 40. So that means 2 can go into 40 two times, and then I'm going to add my 0 because I'm using mental math to do this. So now I need to round up. What's the next multiple of 20 after 40? Well, that's going to be 60. So my next estimate is I'm rounding 5,312 up to 6,000. So 2 goes into 60 3 times. So 20 goes into 6,000 30 times. That means my answer is going to be somewhere in between 20 and 30 for this division problem. So let's go ahead and work it out and see if we were correct and see how this estimate can help us. So 19 into 53. Well, remember, it's somewhere in between 20 and 30. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot and say 2. So 2 times 19. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, so 38. Let me just make sure that it wouldn't be 3 by adding 19 again. 8 plus 9 is going to be 17. Oh, so it looks like 19 can actually go into 53 3 times. So let me double check that math. So 19 times 3. So if I were to do 9 times 3, that's going to be 27. 3 times 1. Oh, so I must have 4. I did my math wrong. It's 57. See, that's why you always double check. So it's not going to go in 3 times. So it's 2 times, which is correct, and 2 times 19 was 38. So I'm going to write 38 here, and I'm going to subtract. Okay, so 15, bring down my 1. So 19 into 151. So if I were to round 19 up to 20, 20 can go into 100 5 times, and it can go into 50 about 2 times. So I'm going to say probably 7. So let's go ahead and try 19 times 7 to see if that is correct. So 9 times 7 is 63. 7 times 1 is 7. And then 7 plus 6 is going to be 13. So 133 into 51. Let's make sure that 19 can't go in one more time. 9, 10, 11, 12, 3, 4, 5, 152. See, we would go over. So that means that we're going to do it times 7. So we're going to write 7 up here above our 1. And that was 133. Subtract, and I have to borrow. 8, 4 minus 3 is 1 and 0. And then bring down my 2. All right, so now I need to figure out, let's see here. I'm trying to see what I did. I have my, nope, I did it correctly. So I have 182. So let's go ahead and say 19 can go into 182. So 20 into 18. Let's say it can go into 105 times and 84 times. So let's say 9. So 19 times 9. So if I do 9 times 9, that's going to equal 81. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 8 is going to be 17. So 171. So I'm going to put a 9 up here above my 2. And I have 171. I'm going to subtract 2 minus 1 is 2. Sorry, 1. 8 minus 7 is 1. So I have 11. So my answer is 279 remainder 11. So as you can see, that's way far off from our estimates. So where did I go wrong in our estimate? And the thing that went wrong was I was dividing here. 2 goes into 2. See? I did mental math and I forgot to add in my zeros. So see, even I can make mistakes. So really, if we were to do this, it should have been 200 and 300 as the answers for your estimation. And 279 falls between 200 and 700. My mental math is wrong, and even teachers make mistakes. When I'm trying to talk and do math at the same time, sometimes I get confused. So my mental math was wrong. So as you can see, the estimate helped us to place our first number, but also helped us to realize if our answer was correct. And as you saw, I had 20 and 30, so I knew something was wrong. So I either needed to go back and check my estimate, or I needed to check my division. So I chose to check my estimate first, just to make sure that I was not wrong on my estimate, and that's where I was wrong. And then if I wouldn't have been wrong on my estimate, then I would have gone back and checked my division. So as you can see, an estimate can really help you to see if your division is correct or not. And it can also help you to place that first number. So make sure you check your work like I've been doing, and if you make mistakes, that's okay, because we all make mistakes and that's how we learn. So I hope you guys have a great day and have fun working on your lesson.